child beating sex offense registry. 1212. Because we don't want to forget that. Now, let me address something that's going on right now. We have Toronto Johnson, a.k.a. Taharka Bay, interviewing a sister who is a former New Black Panther Party member, as myself am a former New Black Panther Party member. Now, what I'm not going to do is disrespect this sister. I don't know her. Don't know her. Sure, I can get a hold of her, but I don't know her. From what she said, from what I was watching, she was a local chairman in D.C. And for the most part, I'm not going to even say that she's shitting on the party. I'm just saying that she, first of all, anyone who would talk to Taharka Bay and disclose Panther business, former Panther business, is working with the enemy. Not just working with the enemy, but you're also like you're telling your story to a sex offender. As you can see right here on these documents, this is receipts. Registered / lifetime sex offender, yes. But of course, Taharka, I was moving around, so I was watching. I was tuned in. And all this dude is doing is trying to find ways to have her undermine the party. Now, I don't know if she understands that's what's going on, or maybe just because she's had some dealings that she's not happy with. But I will say this, overall, I can respect her. I just don't respect the fact that she would go to him to air out business. And being that she is a local or was a local chairman, she's not privy to all the information from some of the things that he was asking. And this is coming from someone who was a regional and on the national committee. So some of the things that they were speaking about that he was trying to use to undermine, like there's not a home national base, that's not true. There's no other meeting spots or tangible buildings, that's not true. He even tried to have her undermine AJ. He tried to set her up to undermine AJ, but it backfired because she said AJ's a real one, which is a fact. But here's the cold part. For all he's doing to try to undermine black organizations like the New Black Panther Party, let's not forget that he is a registered sex offender. At one point he was registered, which means that he was convicted of a sex crime. And don't trip, Toronto Johnson. There's more coming out. There's more details. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and revisit something real quick. Let's do a share. Hold up, let me find this. I'm not on the whatchamacallit right now. I'm not on the AJ and other members of the New Black Panther Party. AJ is no longer a member. And black organizations in general, freedom fighters. He's doing his best. Oh, how come they don't have planes? How come they don't have boats? How come you don't have a plane or a boat? How come you had to raise and steal money from the same people you threw under the bus 6 years ago? You raised all this money to just now get a Unity Hall, just to now have a bando that you rent out? That you got to walk around handing out flyers trying to get people to come because nobody fucks with you. You're not a real Bay. Everyone knows that. You don't have a real charter under the Moorish Science Temple. You're not legit. Nobody fucks with you. Only people who don't know about your shenanigans fuck with you. Only other agents and sex offenders like Charles fucks with you. The only time you ever have anyone on your program is only if they're going to undermine or if you think you're going to get some dirt because you're a fucking agent. That's what agents do. You look for reasons and ways to undermine. But what are your credentials? A little bit what your resume consists of. Here we go. Your resume consists of beating up your son, putting your knee on his throat, beating him like a savage, doing the same to his mother, threatening his mother right in front of him. You threaten the mothers of children that you deal with in front of them. So here's a quick little something. This is from a protection order, right? So here's her account of why she's filing the protection order. Let's look at it. It says, my son and I were on the telephone and he was upset because there was a change to him coming to my house for the weekend. In other words, he was upset because he wanted to not be with his dad, because his dad is, of course, a woman beaten, child beaten, drunken sex offender. Okay. I could hear yelling, and I asked her if it was Keenan, and she said, no, it was Tito, his dad's nickname. I told her to give me the phone, and I could hear his dad yelling at him about being late for an appointment. This is you, Tito. This exchange continued for about a minute, and I hear Keenan yell, I don't care anymore. You're not listening to me. At this point, the phone sounds like it dropped, and I can hear Toronto saying, you fucking punk. You think you're hard. Shut the fuck up. This is how he talks to his son. He's talking to his son, a 15-year-old, as if he's somebody on the streets. But the funny thing is, for all the people who's asked him for the fade, if you don't know what a fade means, it means a one-on-one, heads up, throwing from the shoulders. He ducks them. Oh, but he's real hard when it comes to a 15-year-old boy. Oh, he's tough as nails when it comes to beating up on women, though. But when Ali Muhammad wanted to fight you, you didn't want to do it. I think the only person who you considered fighting was little young Pharaoh. Anyone else you ducked. Oh, but you're tough when you're talking to a 15-year-old child. All right, let's see what else we have. And then the phone hung up. This is him and his 15-year-old son at the time. I called back and the phone is answered, and then I hear Toronto say, give me the fucking phone, and hung up. I continue to call the house cell phone for no answer for about 5 minutes. Later, I yelled, why did you beat him like that? This is what she was saying to Toronto. Toronto says, I just grabbed him up. Minimizing, of course. Now, this is the same person who goes out of his way to try to find any dirt on any organization or individual that's doing real work. Right? That's Toronto Johnson. Right? Go out of his way to look for dirt on other organizations, but he's a whole beater of women and children. He is on was on the registered sex offense list. I'm going to show you that again. It's no cap. It's receipts. And more to come. And by the way, since you said that I better hope that I don't run into you, I'm letting you know right now, we can set it up. I'm saying right now, no weapons. We could just set it up. We could do it in the Lone Star State, wherever, Houston, San Antonio, wherever you want to do it, we could do it. Since you're trolling me, since you said that you're in Texas looking for me, I'm going to make it easy for you to find me. I'll make it real easy for you to find me. And we can run the fade. Real shit. Anyway, let's continue. So after going back and forth, he tells me that Keenan ran out the house and went and cut his bracelet off, his GPS bracelet off. GPS bracelet because he was already on house arrest. Because Toronto's doing such a great job, because he's telling everybody else how to raise their kids. He's telling Inky how to raise their kids. He's telling other people how you're supposed to produce a better you and your children. But this is what he's doing. He's producing another him. And he's a piece of shit. And that's no disrespect to the kids. It's not their fault. I'm not saying they're pieces of shit. I'm saying Toronto's a piece of shit. And he's duplicating himself out there. Because they also have DVs now as grown adults. They also have criminal records. And Taharka Bay only gets money from Social Security. That's how he was raising his kid for Social Security check that his child got. And that he gets for Ashburger. But he's going to teach you about economics, though. He's going to teach you about morality. He's going to teach you how to raise children and to be a community leader. Living in a fucking bando. Fuck out of here. So this occurred about 3:30, and at 9:30, Keenan comes in my house in tears and just grabs me and says, I can't take him hitting me anymore. This is what his son is saying. So his son's been getting beat. So you want to wonder why they were popping pills at 15 and 16, drinking, smoking weed, going live, doing all this wild shit. Well, because they were traumatized. That's why. They were traumatized. So what I'm saying is this the person who should be the moral compass for the community? Is this the standard which we are supposed to accept? Is this the best we can do? A Taharka fucking Bay? Let's continue. Can't take him hit me anymore. Don't make me go back there. He's pleading not to go back to his dad's house. On the phone with my daughter, which is his sister, him and his dad were fussing, and he yelled and stated that his dad dragged him from the bed onto the floor and placed his knee into his throat. The cop who killed George Floyd didn't do all that. His knee into his throat. He said that he began trying. You end up passing out. And after that, you die. He says that he was able to say, you're hurting me, I can't breathe. And his dad shoved his knee really hard in his chest and got up. So he used his own son's chest as a footstool. And Keenan said, hold up, had used scissors in his room to cut the monitor off his ankle and placed it in his shoe because he didn't want to be found and return to his dad's. He would rather go to juvie than to go to his own dad's. He'd rather go to juvie than to be tortured and beat at his dad's house. He ran to a friend's house and gave him money to catch the bus to my house. I'm extremely concerned about my son's mental well-being. That's interesting because she just told a story of her son getting beat down and almost choked to death. But she's concerned about the mental well-being. So that means he's not only a physical abuser, he's a mental abuser. He tortured his kids and physically and mentally abused them. There has been issues in the past about his dad's method of discipline, or what he calls discipline. And Keenan said before that if it happened again, he would run away. Look, you don't run away because you get a spanking once in a while. That doesn't make you run away. But if you're beat, if you're abused sexually or physically or mentally, you will want to leave. I got spankings. I never thought about running away. I got whoopings. Excuse me. It wasn't spankings. I got whoopings. Belt on the ass. Switch. Whatever. I never thought about running away. I never felt I was abused. I never had to try to push my dad's knee off my throat. I never felt like I would rather be in juvie than to be at home as a child. But then again, my dad wasn't Taharka, thank God. There's been cases of domestic violence with me and his dad in the past. While talking to him yesterday and this morning, he has been very angry and derogatory. He's speaking about Toronto. And I don't want him contacting me or my son. We have an older child in common as well. This is the person who is trying to interview and undermine Panthers and other black organizations and individuals. This dude. This is the dude who and this was only 2014. This wasn't like a long time ago. This was 2014. First, 2014. This wasn't a long time ago. This was right before he started his YouTube channel. So 2014, he's beating the shit out of his son and his son's mother and other women, robbing, stealing. And then 2015, he's a refined Moor with a YouTube channel undermining every single black organization in a matter of months. Now, let's not forget this part, though. I don't want y'all to forget this part right here. The right side of your screen, bottom right. I don't want you to forget that this dude is a registered sex offender. At least in 2016 he was. Now, at this time, he's not registered anymore. He's not on the registry anymore. But in 2016, he was. So if he's not on it now, it only means that the time elapsed that he has to continue to be on there. Or maybe he didn't register anymore. But in 2016, according to the District Court of Maryland for Baltimore County, Toronto Johnson was a registered sex offender. To be a registered sex offender means that you have been convicted of a sexual crime. This doesn't mean it was alleged. Doesn't mean somebody accused him of it. Doesn't mean he was charged and then found guilty in court. No, it means that he was convicted of a crime that would put him on the sex offense registry. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that this is the person. And listen, to the sister who came on the show, the ex-Panther from DC, and I'm not going to say anything negative about her. I'll say that she doesn't have all the information because she was a local chairman, so she wouldn't have all the information. And she did, she was fair enough to say, like of course Taharka Bey is only trying to bait her to say negative things about the party and about people that were in the party. That's his objective. His objective is never to highlight good things going on in the community that our people are a part of. He's never done that. His objective has never been to really look at the challenges in our community and try to solve them. That's never been his objective. His objective is to make everyone look bad, so he can come off like the only pure one. But this pure one is a fucking registered sex offender, or at least was in 2016. And everybody who fucks with him also is shady. Yeah, we could pull your card too, Charles. We know about the woman that you raped at gunpoint. I know who she is. Yeah. One of Taharka's biggest supporters just happens to be a rapist as well. Is that a coincidence? They just run in packs. They support each other. Is it just a coincidence that the only people who really back this dude are criminals, sex offenders, rapists? Don't get it twisted. Yeah, we got more. Now I'm going to read what's in that bottom right or bottom left corner, just so you can just kind of, just think about it. And this is from this file that's called basically an informant checklist, like things that you would look for if you're looking, basically how informants operate. And I'm just going to read you a couple paragraphs. It says this: here are some warning signs to watch for when it comes to people's daily behavior outside of meetings and actions. Is the suspicious person behaving improperly with children? Are they harming their partners? Can they keep their hands off kids? Are they trying to sleep with multiple adults in the group or one of the leaders? Make sure you don't have a pedophile who was let free in exchange for disruption, or a serial rapist or a woman beater who has been turned loose on the activist community to cause devastation. Just saying, he is a registered sex offender, or at least he was in 2016. I don't know if he's a pedophile or not. We know he'll abuse children. To what extent, I don't know. We know he'll at least beat them down and choke them to death if he can. I don't know what else he would do. Anything's on the table at this point. You can't put nothing past him. Let's see what else it says. Note, when such people never face consequences from law enforcement, even when the victims press charges, if there's a solid case against a predator and that predator is allowed to flee, then goes to political meetings in another jurisdiction while feds refuse to extradite him for trial, bingo. Just so happens that with all these different cases that he has caught back to back to back while on probation just getting dismissed, court fees getting dismissed. We showed you the receipts for any of these things. A couple of days here, a couple of days there. He just so happens to start his channel after catching a slew of cases that he was never held accountable for. He just happens to have a platform dedicated to undermining other organizations that are doing real things. You got brother AJ jumping out of planes, jumping off of boats, rescuing people. He wants to label him as an agent. AJ doesn't have a criminal record. AJ's not, or never has been, a registered sex offender. Taharka, as you can see right in front of your face, registered/lifetime sex offender. Yes. That's not doctored. He pulled the same thing himself and showed it on accident. Same thing. That's why he's not speaking of it like he said he would. That's why he's not really suing Sonetta, because he can't. Because it's not slander, it's truth. As a matter of fact, it's public record. You can look it up. See what else we got. In our recent experience, a predator who met 9 out of 10 of the above criteria, including number 10, in admission to other activists he was trying to turn, was never convicted by law enforcement. Instead, he was turned loose on a series of activist communities, wreaking havoc and destruction. I'm reading the second paragraph in that bottom left corner. Only his death put a stop to it. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what they do. Like, this is real life. They allow certain pieces of shit to operate. Because when someone has an egregious record, they could be compromised even more. See, when agents are flipped, they're flipped by the Judas and the Black Messiah as a reference. Based on a true story. It's the story of the person who set up Fred Hampton. What happened? He got caught for a crime that was going to put him in jail for 30 years. And he was given the ultimatum to go to prison or infiltrate the Panthers. Well, with the record like Taharka's, he would have done some serious time for all these crimes. So how the fuck did he get out of all that? And is it a coincidence that he tries to infiltrate the Moors, right? Infiltrate Sonnet. At first, actually, Taharka started off trying to be comedic. That's what Taharka's a comedic name. So he came in like that. Befriended Sonetta, got his numbers up, talked to all these people who he now calls scammers. Moorish, blah, blah, never actually registered, never actually was accepted, never was chartered, never got his bay because they peeped his shit early on. They peeped his shit early on and wouldn't fuck with him. No one fucks with him. He only can get people who don't really know who he is or people who are disgruntled with organizations. And like a true agent, he'll bring them on to undermine. But I'm going to tell you something. And if you're watching this, sis, I want you to understand something. Sister boss lady Janie, if you do your due diligence and realize who the fuck this person is, and then you speak up against him, he's going to throw you under the bus as well. Because all he's really looking for is a way to undermine anything that is black, anything that's productive, anything that, like let's keep it a buck. Are these organizations, the New Black Panther Party, perfect? Nah, hell no. Hell to the nah. Shenanigans, yes. Any organization, any social club, any team, any group, there's going to be things. But you don't air out dirty laundry to niggas like this. Because he has a hamper full of laundry, including explaining to do like why in 2016 was he on the registered sex offense list. Why? Why doesn't he speak about this? Why did he pull all these records saying that it was fake, saying it was doctored, saying that we just didn't understand them? Say he was going to sue, say he was going to explain all this stuff, but he never has. There's really no explanation. It is what it is. Registered/lifetime sex offender. He's on the list in 2016. He's not on the list any longer, but in 2016 he was. And just to be clear, you can only be on that list if you were at some point convicted of a sex crime. You don't just get on that list because somebody accuses you. You don't just get on that list because you're charged and you had to go to trial and was found innocent. No, you only if you're convicted. Meaning that you yourself either pled or a jury found you guilty. That's the only way you get on that list. And in 2016, as you can see right in front of your face, he was on that list. Yeah, we ain't gonna let you forget that. You ain't living that down. You ain't living that down. So you do your best to air out whoever you want to air out. We're just going to continue to bring it right back to the basic. And basically, according to your record, you are a child beating, child abuse. Yeah, child abuse, assault, armed robbery 3 times, battery, assault. That's not even the half of it. Destroyed. Look at that. Destroyed. How do you get these things destroyed? How do you not do any time for any of these things? How are you at one point a registered sex offender, but you have the audacity to undermine people who are really doing things? You don't have anything on, you don't have any productive community work on your resume at all. At all. At all. None. You couldn't pull a meeting together. Like you're handing out flyers, begging people to come to your little bullshit. You're the people's Grand Sheik. You're in Baltimore. There's dozens of respectable organizations. I know several of them. None of them fuck with you. You can't call a meeting for them to come together and let's come out with a plan for this and that. No, because they don't fuck with you because they know who you are and what you are. That's why. Like if you call yourself a Moor and the people's Grand Sheik, why no Moors fuck with you? None of them. Why? That's a little suspicious. So at this point, anyone who's fucking with this dude is an enemy or don't know better. And I'll give sister the benefit out that she don't know better. And that she's a little bit messy and sloppy because there's no reason to be going public telling about what you didn't like and what you're, you know what I'm saying? There's no need for that. I do respect the fact that she didn't fall for the bait completely. I respect that. I respect the fact that when he tried to set her up to say some bad things about AJ, she didn't take the bait. Or when he tried to imply that Imam Akbar is an agent, she didn't fall for it. I respect that. But don't air out how you feel. You're you know, you may not like this person or got along with this person, or you might have had problems with this. Don't do that, sis. If you don't know better, which I'm assuming you don't, his motives are not pure. His motives is just to undermine anything in our community. But he has no receipts. The only receipts he has is destruction in his community, in his own household. And we've already showed these before. He signed this document, meaning that he understood what was on it and that it was true information. Let's not get it twisted. Oh, but it don't stop. I'm going to close this out, but it don't stop. I'm not even in the comments. I don't even know if anybody's commenting or not. I'm not in the comments right now. I ain't even about to get in the comments. But I'm going to say this, though. For all the different platforms out there who he's been attacking, and I just don't get why some of y'all ain't running with some of this shit. Like, is this, I mean, what, we're accepting this kind of shit? A registered ex-sex offender to operate, to teach? You're supporting that shit? You ain't really with us. You ain't. You can't be. He's a whole sex offender in this bitch. Air him out. Pull up on his shit. And like I said before, since you did challenge me, since you did say that you better hope we don't meet and that you're in Texas hunting rabbits, making little innuendos that you want to see me, I know I said I'm a peaceful person. I am. But guess what? I'll see you. I'll see you. No problem. I will see you. I mean, if you're trying to see me, I'll make it easy for you to see me. We could run the fade. Win, lose, or draw, I don't give a fuck. We could run the fade. If that's what you want to do, we could run it. Matter of fact, I'm calling you out to a fade. In the Lone Star State. Showdown. We could do that. I'm not underestimating you. I'm not even here to underestimate you. I'm saying that, hey, you might win. But we're going to have to see how it works out, though. I'm going to give you that chance to run it. I'm pretty sure Texas is a mutual combat state, meaning that if we both agree to a heads up, no weapons, it's all fair. I know Washington State is like that. We could run it. We could run it live if you want to. Because you're doing too much. You're doing way too much. I'm not an internet tough guy. I'm not nothing like that. I'm just saying, because you have already threatened me and because you have already implied that you're looking for me and you've been trolling me, I'm saying we can cut all